Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's check out Capcom's Arcade Stadium on Nintendo Switch. Now I've gone ahead and purchased the entire bundle, so that's packs 1, 2, and 3. As you can see, there are a number of games on all those packs. I'll be interested to see if they release more packs even after this. Of course, if you just get the regular game, then the Capcom Arcade, includes 1942, I think, or is it 1943? I think it's 1943. Now, of course, I could do individual videos on every single game here, but yeah, wow, that's a lot of them, aren't there? So rather than doing that, we'll just have a little bit longer of a video and cover these games briefly, and then I think later on I will cover games inside of the stadium individually as separate videos. But this was just the review of the entire package and what's available on launch day today. Alright, so again, 1943 is the one that comes with it for free. You can get the Capcom Arcade Stadium for free with that game, and then if you want additional games, those packs there's 3 different packs that are priced at $15 a piece, or you can buy the whole thing for $40, which is what I did. So yeah, let's see here. Well, let's see. Welcome to Capcom Arcade Stadium. Play all your favorite arcade classics. Capcom is proud to present Capcom Arcade Stadium, the best way to play all your favorite classic arcade games, from shooters to action to fighting games. There's something for everyone. Let the 3D rendered cabinets and precise display options take you back to the glory days of arcade. A new way to play, featuring a variety of useful settings like gameplay rewind, speed adjustment, and the ability to save your game at any time. You've never had a retro game experience so smooth. With the ranking system, you can even compete with players from around the world. Not only can you enjoy these features, you can also do so by playing your favorite classic Capcom cabinets. Let's see, start a game, choose a game, and get playing. Choose a game and select game, then choose start game in the start menu to go to the starting screen, insert a coin, then press the start button to begin playing. These are like the very basic instructions. Okay, use directional pads to select the game you want to play. Use the direction buttons to select start game, then confirm. Press R3 to insert coin, and minus to start the game. Oh, interesting. Credits. What are credits? Credits are the coins used when starting or continuing a game, but unlike the old days, you are not limited to the number of quarters in your pocket. Credits are an infinite resource. Using credits, push R3 to insert coin. Multiplayer modes, co-op versus and versus modes. Depending on the game, you'll have the option to play co-op or versus modes with others. Simply insert 1 credit for each person who wants to play, and press minus to select co-op or versus mode. Capcom Commando can be played with up to 4 players if you set maximum players to 4 in its game settings menu. Tag team mode. Tag team mode can be enjoyed with just a single controller using L as the start button. When only one controller is detected, tag team mode will proceed with players one's controller setting. When 2 or more controllers are detected, each player must use their own controller and setting for tag team mode. Okay, oh boy. Alright, let's look at the menu. The store and system settings. Let's look at general settings. I think we're okay with that for now. A little bit brighter probably wouldn't hurt for you folks watching at home or on your phones. Okay, let's start at the very top. 1943, this is what it comes with. Okay, let's look at the game settings for this. Okay, adjust the settings to play just how you want. In game settings, you can adjust the difficulty level, number of lives, and other assorted settings. Set that game you can't beat to easy mode, or put difficulty on high to really give yourself a challenge. Which I will never do, ever. Navigating and changing game settings. You can access game settings from the start menu. Use the direction buttons to navigate through the menus, choose and change settings. You can use different settings for different games, and your settings will be preserved when you save your game. Note, available settings will differ depending on the game. Difficulty and enemy settings. Difficulty level, difficulty increase rate, time limit, increase, fire speed, enemy strength. Well, really, all these things that you can change? Wow, this is crazy dip switches. Starting lives, starting level, bonus lives, bombs, player strength, health, game speed. Oh yeah, this is really detailed information on the dip switches. Wow, okay, that's cool. You control the speed. The game speed setting allows you to change the speed with which everything moves in the game. By changing the speed, you can experiment with new ways to play or do things you'd never imagined. Slow down to get through a tough spot, or speed up for a real challenge. With slow down gameplay, you can finally get past that spot that you lost your quarters to back in the day. With super fast gameplay, you can push your skills to the next level. Adjust the game speed, go to the settings, and select one of 5 speed levels. Your game will then proceed at the speed you choose. Assign game speed buttons to your controller settings to change the game speed while you play. Oh, cool. Again, I would never do that. I'm glad it's there, but yeah, why? Great. A display to fit the way you play. Display settings allow you to change the frames and display filters. You can play on a 3D rendered arcade cabinet or add scanlines to really give that retro feel. All that and more. Explore the various display settings and personalize your gameplay. How to use: you can access display settings from the start menu or on the game menu. Use the direction buttons to navigate through the menu. Choose and change your settings. You can choose different settings for different games, and your settings will be preserved when you save your game. Presets. Presets allow you to change the frame size and filter settings all at once. There are 4 settings: normal, dash, super, and custom. Normal, no frame or filter. Dash, no frames, show scanlines. Super, 3D camera frame. Curve display filter. Custom, save your own customized preset, which I think is what we're going to have to do. Frame setting allows you to change the game background or use a 3D cabinet. The categories are 2D and 3D. 2D, choose a wallpaper. 3D, choose an arcade cabinet. Display size. Display size allows you to change the size of the game. There are options: normal, arcade, and max. Normal, screen size, arcade, screen size to match the 3D cabinet, and max size to fill your screen. Display filter number 1 allows you, or display filter allows you to set the display of scan lines or other visual effects ranging from types A to G. And oh boy, there's lots of stuff here. Scan lines, RGB pixels, soften pixels, show scan lines and soften pixels. Curve display, show scan lines and curve display, show scan lines, soften pixels and curve display. Oh jeez. Screen orientation. Display the screen. Screen orientation allows you to change the orientation of all aspects of the game, including the controller inputs. Display orientation allows you to change the orientation of each game's display. Controller inputs are not affected. There are 4 options: normal, right, reverse, and left. Why, you ask? Use screen orientation and display orientation to adjust the screen to fit your playstyle. Everyone play a vertical scrolling shooter as a side scroller? Now you can. Well. That is very nice. So I thought A was. So C, D is scan lines. I think we want C. I see, okay. Can we change the button? Boy, they really are going all out on this. So if I say left and normal. Okay, so are my controls different? I mean, let's see what happens here. Are you kidding? Really? You're still gonna show me some stuff? I just changed the orientation of the screen. Give me a break. Rewinding. The rewind feature allows you to back up your gameplay and try again. When you use it, everything will be rewound backward. Rewind anywhere, anytime, and as often as you want to perfect your gameplay or protect your playthrough, one rewind at a time. How to rewind. Hold ZR to rewind. Is there anything else you want to tell me about this, Capcom? Holy crap, man. I mean, I'm glad there's a lot to it. Don't get me wrong. Oh, the controls are not flipped. Okay, yeah, that is not going to work unless you flip the controls too. Alright, is there a way to flip the controls? Boy, they thought of everything except for flipping the controls. Oh god, I thought they really nailed it. I guess not. Yeah, if I want to flip the screen to play with the full vertical, it should also rotate my controls so that they match the on-screen movements. Alright, well, that's fine. We'll just play it like normal then. Yeah, I actually don't like this game as much as the original 1942. Granted, 1942 also drives me batty because you know, it just has the one song that plays all through the entire game. It just features just a single whistle. But this game, while it upgraded everything, you know, upgraded the graphics and the power-ups and the enemy patterns and the number of bullets and everything else, it also introduced the health decrease system. So no matter what you do, your health is going to decrease. So you'll have to gauge whether or not you want power-ups or if you want to just increase your health. As so, things that you can pick. I mean, I guess you could think of that bar as fuel instead of your life, but when they hit you, of course, you lose points off that gauge. So yeah, it's a health gauge that always goes down. So you could be playing a perfect game, right? Theoretically, and you can still die just because you played, you know, a certain amount of time. Like I said, it's the thing that kept me from playing this game in the arcades, knowing that no matter what, I only had a specific amount of time to play. You know, I couldn't just get better on one credit. I would always die, and you know, usually around here, right before the boss, is right about when you lose all of your health initially. It's interesting that they use the minus button to continue. I will say though, that it's a very crisp image. I swear we won't do a lot of continuing. We got a lot of games to cover, so unfortunately I really can't get in depth. Like I said, I'll do individual games as time goes on. But I do want to show you more than just like the second stage. Yeah, the speed's right on. I mean, the sound is really good. You know, it's a very finely emulated game. I do wish that you could flip the screen and rotate the controls, but they were designing the screen flip for handheld mode, which would make sense. Oh god, I want to play it, but we got other games to play. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed. I mean, it does look very nice. What else do we have on our display size normal? Arcade, Mac, whoa, hell no. I would never do that. I mean, some of these display filters are fun, but they're not really faithful to the game at all. Oh, okay. Time. In a rush, must put your name in right away. People waiting behind you in the arcade. Get out of here. Collect some Capcom Arcade Stadium points. Points you can earn by playing games. The more you play, the more Caspo you get. Rack up some Caspo, complete with players around the world to see who can collect the most Caspo. About Caspo. Question Caspo, you can earn Caspo through regular gameplay, any of the challenge modes, or ranked gameplay. Earning Caspo regular gameplay when you... You guys really want me to read all this? Well, holy shit, man. Caspo bonuses are awarded according to the quality of your gameplay based on factors such as score and no continued completions. There are many types such as score, completion bonus, and no continue bonus. Wow, I do not need to know all of this. This is like... This is so much into this game. I really just want to play the arcade games. Alright, can I say something else, please? Well, here I am complaining about new features. My goodness. Hey, give me a second. I mean, seriously, I appreciate the fact that there's, like, more than just, here are the games, and that's it, you know. But kind of at the end of the day, I just want to play the games. Gets right down to it. Okay, let's check out Forgotten Worlds. Now, Forgotten Worlds was originally played with a stick and a rotary controller. So you could push down the controller to fire, and then you'd spin the controller around to rotate your character. So we'll see how they do this game. I imagine it's just going to be the rotation's going to use the twin stick instead, or the right stick. Wait, hold on, no. I don't want... Oh, there's a game manual for every game. Okay, wow, and it's 10 pages? My goodness, wow, how much can you say about this game? The evil lord Bios has wiped out all of human civilization from the earth. From the ashes of despair rise two lone heroes. Their mission to destroy the invaders once and for all. Folks also might recognize this game if they were playing it on the Mega Drive or Genesis, because it was one of the early launch games. It's a really fun game. It's I guess it's a spiritual sequel to Section Z, if anybody played that game too, which was also on the original Nintendo. I just let you look at this. I don't think you want me to read all of this, do you? Do you? Well, please don't tell me you do. Okay, so preset super custom. Yes, please, custom. No frame. I am down for this. Yes, please. Can I apply this to everything? I think there's a way to apply to... Yeah, apply to all games. Yes, good. Thank you. I don't think the filter's on. Yeah, let's leave the filter on, because this is really what the game looked like when playing in the actual arcade. Oh yeah, that's definitely it. Alright, let's do it.
Did you find the guy?
And the best voice acting. You ever finish me? Oh man. Okay, good. So it is the right stick. Oh, that's rewind. No, I don't want that one. Wait, how do I shoot? Hold on. What is shoot? Shoots B. Okay. Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. If shoot is B, my thumb is on B. How am I going to rotate the stick? Whoa, okay. They really didn't think about this default control scheme very well. Oh, I guess you could use the buttons to rotate your character, but that's stupid. Why would you do it that way? Rewind, speed up. Okay, so shoot can definitely not be B. Why don't we make that R? Yes, that makes way more sense. There we go. Wow, that's actually something I can play. Do I even have any money? Boink, boink. Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that, you know, all these features with the rewind and the slowdown and a lot of those play options, the kind of things that you wouldn't really get from, like, maybe using traditional emulation or even something like the Mr. FPGA. So that's kind of why I like these collections. If they really go the extra mile, then they can make them experience, you know, really much more than just emulation and something suited to a modern audience. Honestly, I wish it was an auto fire option. I mean, I don't think there's a time where you don't want to fire. Ooh, Zinni. And yes, that is the levels of the voice acting. You can never hear them in the arcade either. It's just like a super low volume set. But you know, in the arcade, you could barely hear your games as they were, so I guess it sort of made sense that they didn't really care. Oh. Last crown. You got that tiny little frame skip there. Happens every once in a while. It's not consistent. But I can definitely see it. Yeah, boy, what a fantastic game. I mean, I'm glad it did see a home release, although, you know, there were some problems with flicker in that original Mega Drive release. Can't really blame them, though. I mean, compared to the arcade cabinet, you know, the Genesis wasn't something that could really do the game justice. Although, you know, again, it did pretty good. I was certainly satisfied with that conversion when it came out. Okay, I got games to play. Got a lot of them. As much as I'd like to keep playing this game. Oh boy, Ghouls and Ghosts. Let's see how this works out. It's a very challenging game, to say the least. Okay, we'll leave all that normal. Again, there's multiple home versions of this as well. I mean, most people are probably familiar with the Mega Drive version of this game, which I think Sega did themselves. I think they reprogrammed this game themselves. It also appeared on the Super Graphics along with the CD, I think. It's appeared on multiple other collections as well, along with the Virtual Arcade in the Wii days. So yeah, I mean, I think some folks would certainly be familiar with this if they've been playing games for a while. Or if they've had some previous incarnations of systems. But that being said, let's see how far I can get with one credit. Not far is the answer. This is also the only Ghost and Goblin game where you can shoot up. Of course, unlike the sequel, you know, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, there's no double jump in this one. And the weapons are slightly different. For my money, I think this is the more challenging game than Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Like Super Ghouls and Ghosts, I can generally get to the end of that game without too much trouble. I mean, the problem with that game is that it's just a very, very long game, and to play through it twice to get the real ending, I mean that's what really takes a long time. But this game, I don't think I've ever gotten all the way through it. I don't think I've ever beaten it, because it does get really, really difficult later on. Or even towards the beginning here. Oddly enough, the best game in the best weapon in the game, or in the entire series, has always been the dagger. No matter what, if you're playing any Ghouls and Ghosts or Ghosts and Goblins, always get the dagger. It's the thing that will save you, no matter what. Yeah, in some ways I actually enjoyed the Mega Drive sound more. There's something awful tinny about the arcade sound. Ah, oh, son of a bitch. Ah. Yeah, they did put up the pre-order to the the new game for today, but I think I'll play that one on the PlayStation 4/PlayStation 5 instead. But certainly it's available on this system if you prefer to play it on this system. Ah, shit. I'll save this part. I never felt that these turtle shells were that predictable, so it's tough to get by them without dying, or at least without losing your armor. Yeah, there are some occasional frame drops, which I'm seeing, which again is a little surprising to me. But I think, you know, just having so many of these games in at your disposal is going to make it worth it for a lot of people. Son of a bitch. Ah. I don't think I've ever died in that part. Man. Oh, I thought it would give me a suit of armor there. No. Yeah, except for the occasional frame drop, or frame skip. This is really... It's a really, really good emulation. And this isn't like a particularly difficult CPS2 game to emulate, but it is also not something that is guaranteed to be done right. Alright, Strider. Well, I think I'm going to dedicate an entire episode to Strider. But, that being said, let's just play a little bit here and see how it does. I used to be able to one-credit Spider, or a Strider. I think even one life. I think I could manage to get through this game back in the heyday with just one life. Not anymore, mind you. Oh, that emulation was not right. That was not the right sound. Well, okay. Some minus points on the side emulation then. Ah, yes. No, what are you doing? Let's see. Should be one more up here. I do remember a lot of the game. I just can't get through it with one life anymore. Oh, what the hell? Shouldn't be more than one of those. Okay. Yeah. So annoying. Yeah. Oh. Boy, they messed up on everything except for that first little boing boing sound when you started on the first stage. That's such a weird thing to screw up. Come on, get over there. Darn you, sisters! Okay, what's the next game? Dynasty Wars. Oh boy, my class is up. It's the only time I've ever earned class. Even as some sort of package. Okay, yeah. Wonderful, I guess. Alright. This is like a Final Fight style game, if I'm remembering correctly. The Han Dynasty was about to... you don't need to know. Let's see, I don't think there have been home versions of this, but this game has appeared in other emulation titles. In fact, I think Capcom Arcade Classics, I think this game is on there as well.
I'm taking the field. Mumbai.
Yeah, no, it has a very, you know, Knights of the Round, Magic Sword-esque feel to it. You know, less like a Golden Axe or a Final Fight, and, you know, again, closer to Magic Sword or Knights of the Round, or, you know, the games from that series. Yeah, it's amazing how well the games hold up. I mean, you know, it's a simple arcade game, so all you're really doing is mashing the buttons and moving the controller around. You know, taking massive amounts of damage, you know, unavoidable, unblockable damage, you know, in the hopes of, you know, the arcade cabinet securing your coin. But still a ton of fun. And if you wanted to go through this a little more carefully, you certainly could. And you could last a little bit longer, but you know, death is guaranteed in an arcade game. I think folks need to realize that, you know, it's challenging enough to give you a little bit of a fighting chance, but it's definitely not fair and not designed to be. Still, with that being said, it's still a ton of fun. I'm the general of... okay, wow, yeah. Talk fast, apparently. Oh, maybe this wasn't in the Capcom collection. Okay. Or the fighting game collection. Now that I'm playing it more, I don't recognize it from any other collection that came out recently. Might have been in the one of the Capcom Classics. I can't give up here. Oh yeah, I can. I can give up all day. Yeah, that's cool stuff. And the good thing too is that you can play with another player. I think this one is only two player. I don't think it's 4.
You will never defeat us.
Oh wow! I may never defeat you, but at least I'll be handsome. Let's see here. Yeah, I think that's all we have for that. Alright, and the classic Final Fight number 1. that really kickstarted the side-scrolling beat 'em up genre. Really, shot in popularity with Double Dragon and the style of gameplay there. But maybe you could even trace it back to the like Yai Air Kung Fu. Sometime in the 1990s. Alright. What's funny is that the Super Nintendo version, the Super Famicom version, the initial release didn't have this character guy. It only had Cody and Hager, but Guy actually wasn't a popular character, so which is the reason why he was not in the Super Nintendo version. Guy only became a popular character after he was omitted from the home game. Then, of course, the Capcom released a separate game with him available as a character, him and Hagar, but not all three. It wasn't until I think the Sega CD that we saw all three of them together, along with some other characters from the game as well, or the other collections. Yeah, it's funny to think of now because Guy is a popular character from other Capcom fighting games, but now not in the original release. Few people played as Guy. Cody was the more popular character. For the quick, fast kind of characters. And that wasn't true in just the States. It was actually true in the foreign territories as well, or other territories. I probably shouldn't say foreign. Yeah, people tended to pick Cody. Well, I'm doing terrible. I swear I normally don't die this fast. I mean, normally I die faster. We're gonna get right down to it. Yeah, I think what made this game really different from the other, other beat 'em up games, the Double Dragon clones, was just the speed of the punches that you could throw. It just made the game feel different, just being able to move this quickly. Having characters be so, so big and detailed. Oh. I don't know what it is about this game. It's a lot of fun to play. Even if you played it a bunch of times. Except for this whole characters dying off screen. I always hated it about this generation of games. Yes, the beginning of the adolescent underboob addiction, fetishism. Poison and Roxy. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, crap. I gotta hate you, Hollywood. Andor. Yeah, in this game, I would say that if you wanted to play a home version, then the version you should play is probably the Sega CD one. I mean, the loss in color is pretty dramatic. I mean, it doesn't look anywhere near as good because the number of colors on screen on the Genesis weren't as plentiful as they were on the Super Nintendo. But it did have Red Book audio, which was really good. And it featured all the stages, of which some stages had to be cut from the Super Nintendo one in order to keep the game's size down for that I think that 2 meg cartridge. I think it was a 2 meg cartridge. Might have been 4. Guy, you'll be back. Years later in other fighting games. But strangely enough, not in Final Fight. Alright, what's next? We got 1941 Counterattack. I think it's another one of these games that's like unusually difficult. Also not really widely distributed in the States, which is really strange because 1942 was a real moneymaker. I mean, it made a ton of money. And 1943, I think, also made a fair amount of money as well. Yeah, I like this one quite a bit better than 1943. It definitely felt more fair, even though it's actually a harder game than 1943. But just not having the constantly decreasing health bar is really what made it better. No. Yeah, that sides actually hurt you. Pow! Pow! You can also do a little charge attack as well. There's some good stuff in this game. As I said, it's nothing like really innovative or new, but it's just really well designed. And I don't believe this one ever got a home version. If it did, it might have been during the Saturn era, possibly. But I never saw it, if that's the case. Oh, do you want to see the display settings? Yeah, I covered it a little earlier, but let's take a look. Okay, so there's a ton of stuff for display settings. Some of which are useful and some which aren't. But you know, you can change the display size, basically the pixel ratio and the aspect ratio of whether or not it stretches. You have a couple different filters. You know, no filter. Then you know, variations of scan lines, screen distortion. Personally, I like just the light filter to match the CRT's image. You can do screen orientation, but bear in mind that this does not flip controls when you're playing at home. This is really meant for when you're playing in handheld mode. Then it makes sense, but it does not flip your controls. It just flips the display. Same thing with your display orientation. So, well, got some settings. Obviously, it's more than you would get from, let's say, an Arcade Archives version of these games. It's not every single filter out there. It's you know, you're not getting the 4HQX or anything like that. But I think it's pretty good for what it is. It still preserves the original arcade image. Yikes. Well, at the same time, sort of modernizing the display. Oh god, that suck. Now this is the version of 1940X that I'm least familiar with, because I never saw it in the arcades at my local arcades, and never got a home version. Again, as far as I'm aware, maybe it got something on the PlayStation or the Saturn, but I never saw it. Then you can save the settings for each individual game as well, so you're not stuck with just one universal setting, which is nice. Would have been the super lazy way to do it, which I think a lot of other companies would have done. Though in the end, you'll probably end up using the same settings across all your games anyway. Yeah, I think the variety of games is really good too, although again, you know, you only get 1943 free, and then everything else you pay for in 3 packs. So you basically pay $5 a game, because each pack is $15. And yeah, wow, I'm not good at this one. I think this one would be very challenging as a 1-credit game. Although I feel this is more doable as a 1-credit game than 1943. 1943 just feels like a ripoff most of the way through. Alright. Next game! Oh, we got a lot of them. We got a lot to cover. Senja no Okami 2. Wait, what? No, it's just the Japanese one? This game does not have an English ROM. Please change to the JP ROM. You change ROM compression minus. Ah, interesting. What, really? Did they lose the source code to this? Oh, maybe I'm thinking of a different game. I thought this came out in the States. No? Huh. I guess not. Really? Is it Mercs 2? It looks like Mercs 2. Oh no, it's just regular Mercs. So why isn't there a English ROM of this? Huh, that's hilarious. Not that you need the English. I mean, the game is mostly in English anyway. Yeah, it's a sequel to Commando, which, strangely enough, I actually think Commando is the superior game. But this is still fun, don't get me wrong. And the best thing about this is the ability to play with 3 players total. So it is cool. I never really felt that this was like the strongest game in Capcom's arcade library, though. Mainly because it never really feels like you can shoot in the right direction when you want. I don't know what they could have done with it besides do the S and K thing and give you a rotary controller, which had its ups and downs as well. Yeah, this is Mercs. I wonder why they don't have an English ROM of this. There was definitely an English version of it. Oh crap, is it just one... Is it just one... Is it just one player? Or you only get one life and then you have to throw in another quarter? Whoa, boy. Asking for a lot, this game. Yeah, and yes, you can buy the games individually. It just makes more sense to buy them in the packs, though. I think the packs are actually set up pretty well, too. Because the games that you're interested in generally crowded into the 3 packs. It's not like they're going to stick like Puzzle and Dragons in with Mercs, you know? Which would normally be a bad move. Not that I don't like Puzzle and Dragons. But there's probably a reason why I didn't appear here. At least in this initial couple collections. Yeah, I'd be curious to see how this runs on the PlayStation, PlayStation 4 or the Xbox potentially. As I said, there are some instances where the frames do drop. You know, it's not drawing every frame. It definitely is skipping some frames sometimes. It's not very often, but you will notice it. You notice just this little bit of hesitation when you're playing. Wow, holy crap, I suck at this game. I mean, this is also an unusually difficult game, too. I mean, no doubt about it. It's definitely designed to take your money. More so than a lot of other games. Yeah, and it's a fun game, but I don't know. There's something about it that doesn't really do anything for me. Oh boy, oh, cheeky boys. Yeah. I guess I haven't been covering game settings. This part I think they've done a pretty good job for universal settings. Time challenge? Oh no, that's not... Wait, am I on the English version? Ah, there we go, Mega Twins. That's what I know it as. What is your name? So if you start on the Earth, let's start on the Earth, yes. I'm not gonna get all the way through this game. This game is hard as hell, too. I mean, you wouldn't think so by looking at it, but it is actually very tough to get all the way through it. You know, what very suspicious edamame. Ouch, 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 ouch. Yeah. I know, that's totally not an annoying sound when your health is low, huh? Ouch, 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 ouch. I always thought the jumping was a little funky too, because it's just like a hint of a delay when you jump. Oh, damn it. Because you'll push jump and then it'll just jump just a fraction of a second later. And it takes some getting used to. I want to say Mega Twins got some home versions as well, just not on the consoles. There were, I think there was a PC version. At least I remember playing it on PC. With some crappy VGA graphics. Not even SVGA, if I remember correctly. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Oh, jeez. I don't know why I like this game. It's not good. I mean, it's not good compared to all the other games that Capcom was releasing at the time. But it is like a little charming. I think it's why I like it so much. Or I swear I won't continue after this, even though it's very, very tempting. Too many games to cover. And there are two other notable releases on the eShop today as well, so I want to cover those too. Yeah, I do wonder what the stats will be like when folks buy the individual titles, or if they buy the packs, which ones will be the most popular. I have a feeling this probably won't be on like the list of a lot of games that people will like. It's too bad too, because if you like Magic Sword, then you know it plays very, very similarly. Yeah, don't let my lack of skill deter you from playing. It actually is fun. But it is not a favorite among the fans. Ah yes, Carrier Airwing. We never saw a release of this for the home consoles, which is a shame because Area 88, or UN Squadron, as it was known in the States, was real popular. So why they couldn't manage to get this one over here is too bad, because this is a better game than Area 88. Alright, same stuff here. At least in my opinion. Totally not Sean Connery, yeah. I don't think I should get anything in the first play. Yeah, when it showed up at the Nickel Arcade in my area, man, I played a lot of this game. I couldn't quite one credit it. I think it took at least 3 credits to go all the way through for me. But I think it is possible. You know, it's a tough game, but I think it's incredibly fair. It was also from the era where Capcom was doing burst fire for their shooters. So, you know, holding down a button would shoot like 3 shots, as opposed to, you know, their older games, you know, like 1942 where, or 1943 where, you know, a single shot meant a single button press. Here you're just like, you know, pressing it just every once in a while. Not, you know, a constant barrage of button presses. Made it a lot more fun to play. Also made it easier on the arcade operator because they didn't have to replace the buttons all the time. Now that I'm looking at this, I can see why they couldn't do it on Super Nintendo. There's kind of a lot going on, especially compared to Area 88. Ah, oh, some jeez. Oh, alright, well. I did say I'd only do 1 credit. I think to me this is really what defined my early gaming career, is all these arcade games. Not so much the home consoles. I never had, like, enough money at the time to buy an entire console or a console game. You know, it was, you know, $50 at a time, and, you know, at the most I maybe had like $1 or $2 you know, every couple days. So so the arcades really for me were the best thing growing up. Oh boy, Street Fighter 2. Which is why when people talk about their favorite games, I mean, for me it's usually the arcade game and not the home version. So I'm happy to see that we finally gotten power in our consoles, that we get to play these arcade games. Because a lot of people haven't experienced the arcade games. You know, arcades have been long dead, and you know, there are still lots of great releases happening. And if you're younger, then you really never got to experience the arcade. Which may be good or bad, I don't really know. I think it's bad because there's a lot of good classic games out here that I think that people still enjoy. I mean, is this like version 1 of Street Fighter 2 when Guile was actually good? Because after the first version, they totally dumbed Guile down to make him like one of the weaker characters. They also totally nerfed Dhalsim. Or Dhalsim. But then they buffed, you know, Ryu and Ken. It's like, you don't need to buff them. They were fine. Oh boy. Never did like using modern controllers, you know, 4-button layouts. I really do. This is the kind of game that I would have an arcade stick for. Number one, the moves are way easier to do on the arcade stick, since they're kind of designed around those motions. Still one. Eat it, Chun-Li. I mean, only because of time, but still. And what is going on with Guile's hair? Seriously. Nobody in America had hair like that at that time. Oh, Blanca. Oh, 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 oh. I know, it's not like the Super Nintendo version where it was, you know, echoing voices, right? God, it's so weird to play a Street Fighter game at this speed. It's so much slower than all the subsequent games. I mean, that's not the reason why I'm doing poorly. I'm just saying it contributes. It's funny, I didn't get into Street Fighter when it initially came out. It wasn't until like Championship Edition that I started liking it. I didn't understand what the big deal was when it came out. Oh yes, Captain Commando. Nah, there's another one of these, which is certainly not my favorite. It's an okay game, but I think as far as like the trinity of Capcom beat 'em ups, this I wouldn't put it in there, even though it was their mascot game.
Commando.
Really, because I feel all of the characters kind of suck, you know? I mean, the game wasn't like an especially travesty on the Super Nintendo. It was good enough for what it was, but yeah, boy, it was definitely not the arcade game. There is something about these CPS2 games. Capcom did so much with that hardware. I don't know why I bother. I forgot how much passion the announcer says it. Captain Commando. I'm so excited you're here. Yeah, to me the pinnacle of these Capcom beat 'em was really Punisher. It was probably my favorite of all of these games. And I don't even like the Punisher as a character. I just thought the game was really good. I'd say the music's still actually pretty charming, even though it has that weird Capcom sound to it. Maybe weird's not the right word. A lot of these games sounded the same. I mean, for obvious reasons, but it's sort of like when you hear like one bad Genesis game, it sort of defines like the entire series of games, and that's really what this is. Like, as soon as you hear that fake guitar, it's like, oh yeah, it's definitely CPS2. It's like in every game, too. Even like Puzzle and Dragons. I don't know, I guess this is this is a little bit better than I remember. To me, it doesn't totally suck. Still, this one feels like much more dull the more you play it. What an odd mascot, too, you know? All the other companies were doing, you know, animals. Capcom was like, oh no. I'm gonna have a guy in a suit.
Captain Commando.
And his mummy friend and baby in a suit. Straight out of Final Fight, this guy. And I always misread this character's name as Shitstorm. Oh, 45th? Oh, holy crap. Might get in the whole thing with that. Ah, yes, Varth. Varth, I thought we just recently saw this game. I remember playing it here. Was it Arcade Archives? No, maybe it was... Oh, maybe it was Arcade Archives. Oh, maybe I was playing on the original Capcom Arcade cabinet that was released on PS3. I think maybe that's where I was playing it recently. Well, and I say recently because it's part of the PS Now. You know, not that the PS3 release, you know, came out like sometime soon or something or anything. Yeah, I always really like this game. I don't know why it didn't really catch on. At least it didn't seem like it did. Oh, ouch, ouch, ouch. You know, it's got really detailed sprites. The sound is really good. The enemy patterns are reasonable, at least in the early stages. Later on, it gets a little unreasonable. But that's, you know, typical of an arcade game. As I said, they're not designed to be fair to you. Boss Spider. Yeah, I am happy that Capcom has decided to go back to these arcade games. You know, they certainly could have just left them on the table and you know, left this whole genre to the emulation community. Which I think is unfair because the emulation community doesn't really, you know, have the time to implement, you know, rewind features and, you know, while they have like save states, you know, getting, you know, like the HDMI timing right and having it work with multiple systems out there and not requiring, you know, a fair amount of CPU and memory and RAM or even the ability to tinker around with stuff. It's nice to just be able to plug and play a game like this. I mean, the emulation scene has gotten easier over the years, but it's still not perfect. Oh wait, I said only one credit. See, I just naturally want to play the game again. All right, I'll get out of here. Yeah, sorry. Warriors of Fate. Oh, is there an English version of this? Oh, I didn't think it came out over here. Huh. Yeah, the only time I've seen this is the Japanese or the Asian release. Let's play the old guy. Kadon. The Kadon of a new day. Ow, ow, ow. That was hurting me along. I just got here. Hold your horses, Capcom. Ouch, 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 ouch. What terrible shot this guy is. He can't even shoot straight. He just shoots straight into the ground. He's like, oh, it's just gonna hit the ground eventually anyway. And just save it some time. Oh, look at all that detail. That's really impressive. Ouch, 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 ouch. Oh, you hit an old man in the back. Oh, you guys are ruthless. I am trying to kill him, but I'm not trying to kill them well. Look at me. Shoot my arrows right into the ground. Give me a break. Ugh. We'll strike them with... okay, quick speeches. I don't like to waste time, apparently. Ooh, look at all those health bars. Oh my goodness. Commando. Ouch! Oh. My aching back. Yes, oh, my aching spleen. Ugh, my aching liver. Yeah, sure. Probably just asking where the monkey bomb is. That's right, I'll just carry this entire stack of books with me. That won't encumber me at all. Ow! Oh boy, I'm not looking too good, huh? Yeah, I probably would not make it out looking like that. You don't even need to guard me. I'm pretty much done. Oh yes, hyper fighting. Here, give me a second. I'm putting another log on the fire. There's more, don't worry. Alright, hyper fighting. Oh, my poor Guile. Completely nerfed you in this game. But they added the bosses, who are completely nerfed if you play them, but not when the computer plays them. Yeah, okay, well. I'm not playing to win. Just want to check out the emulation. Yeah, I think this is one where they gave him that useless flying knee, too. Isn't that guy on the left, isn't he like smacking his girl on top of the head? See that there? I'm actually putting up with that. Ugh. No. The battle of flash kicks. What every Guile versus Guile match kind of degenerates into. Ugh. I mean, it's definitely not how I remember it. It's weird. So far, the only real error we've seen in the emulation is at the very first part of Strider. Everything else has been pretty spot on. Yes, Turbo. Okay. Down the rabbit hole of Guile's thinking. That's okay, we got Cammy out of this one, so I guess not all is lost. Although I think by this time Street Fighter 2's popularity was really starting to wane, since they just kept releasing updates to this game. I mean, we all forgave them when Street Fighter 3 came out, but still. What the hell happened to Guile's voice? Oh, Guile! What did they do to you? Is that girl getting smacked on the head still? She is, yeah. And they never did change that in animation. For whatever reason, everybody got older, too. Ugh. Forgot how incredibly cheap the CPU is. Like the other releases of Street Fighter, it was you know, the first opponent was brain dead, and this one is like we are taking that quarter. Powered Gear. I think this one was on the Capcom Fighting Game Collection. Why doesn't this one have a... Really? This one doesn't have an English ROM? Wasn't the one in the... Oh, maybe they can't... what's the Cyberboss? God, I could have sworn there was an English version of this. Well, I guess I'm mistaken. How about you, Gray? Ah, such a cool game. Those ridiculous character designs. Well, I guess it is mostly in English. There, I came here for my sandwich. Your order's not ready yet. Why don't you check your app? But I'm hungry now. You look like you have a sandwich on you. I mean, that's what I imagine the story being. I might be wrong on that one. Don't quote me. Just four, 3 hungry guys and 1 hungry girl looking for sandwiches. Being held by the, the evil soup corporation. Ow, ow, ow. Where's that sandwich? Ah, tuna fish. Who the hell eats this? Oh, you deserve to die. You'll never get my grilled tuna. Well, wow, ooh, oh, damn. I'll have to check the Capcom fighting collection. God, I could have swore there was an English ROM to this one. Maybe I'm thinking of some other game. They did have one other robot fighting game that wasn't a one-on-one fighter. Although Cyberbots, I think Cyberbots is the next game, and that's the one-on-one fighter. Ow, 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 ow. That's gotta seem hopeless. It's just this foot soldier with a pea shooter walking up to one of these giant, behemoth machines. Go out there and do some damage, man. Are you crazy? What? Oh, it smells like roast beef. Someone must have a sandwich in here. Oh, 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 oh. I know, sometimes it can kind of be hard to see what you're doing because the animations are so big, Oh, yeah, of course I walked right into it. My goodness. But you eventually kind of get the feel of where your hitboxes are. Not that it matters so much. If you mash on the buttons and move the stick around enough, you're going to get through the game. Thankfully, the Arcade Stadium doesn't have limited credits. I was worried they were only going to, have limited credits and then you'd have to earn more credits. But thankfully, it's all free play. Because most of these games aren't super deep, so forcing you to earn like a credit at a time is, I think, it's not all that reasonable. Oh, we can go underwater. Yeah, well, I guess maybe why not? Obviously, these machines aren't made from Apple. They can survive, you know, even a little bit of water. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I think I definitely want to do a session with just this game alone. But later, let's try to go through all the games that they have on here first, and we'll break them up into individual games. Obviously, I'm going to skip some games. I don't think I want to cover every single one. Number one, I think you guys get tired of that, and number two, some of these games aren't worth revisiting. Oh, my glasses are. I've earned a mini cute pink, I guess. Oh wait, are we still on the Japanese version? Oh no, let's go back. Although I don't think there are that many differences. This is another one of those games which I think is pretty good, but you know, just didn't catch on. You know, there weren't enough characters that people could play as. Even there's only so many matchups with these characters. And, well, let's go for that. Yeah, that's fine. In a laboratory is a frightening. Risking all, she steals a variant armored combat suit and hides in space shuttle. Oh yes, yeah, boy, a rough translation. And I think this one saw a Saturn release. In fact, I think I might still have it. Pretty sure you had to use one of the expansion cartridges, the memory cards for it. I think it worked just as a bare CD. I think it also didn't help that the game had a much simpler control scheme, so it didn't help its longevity. You know. But look at the animation and detail. It's really high class stuff here. Oh, Jesus. Alright, I figured out where my buttons are. I just kept dashing, expecting a punch. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel that this is one of those games that's underappreciated. But, you know, it's a simpler game. Nowhere near as complex as a Street Fighter game. But it wasn't meant to be. It was meant to be, you know, a lot more flashy. And easier to play. And it is both of those. Well, yes, 19XX. Have I ever played this one? I don't think so. I think at one point in time I tried to run an emulator for this game, and I had a terrible PC at the time, and I couldn't get this thing to run smoothly. Obviously, it was a while ago. I mean, nowadays, you know, most phones could run this smoothly. Well, you know, CPS emulation has really come a long way. It's weird how it starts off with like less detail than 1943. But later levels look really nice. Yeah, so when I was emulating this game, I think I got like, I think it was like at like 13 or 14 frames. It was really bad. I still played it though, or at least until it crashed. So there's a, I think after stage 3, I've never seen past this in this game. But I've never seen the arcade cabinet, so yeah, I've never played a real version of this game. Ooh, the Ayako special. It comes with pickled ginger. No salad, though. It's okay, it was just mayonnaise for the dressing. Disgusting. I don't know, what exactly spilled in this ocean? Is that all blood? That was a lot of blood. Oh, it's just supposed to be sunset. Although the water's color doesn't look like that at sunset. Yeah, it is nice being able to play these games, you know, on a modern system with a modern controller, on a modern display. And as I said, while we do get 1 or 2 frame drops here and there, it is by and large a pretty smooth experience. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I don't know if I'd double dip on this, just so I could play it on the PlayStation 4. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. These kind of games tend to be more fun on the Switch. And really, most of my arcade games, arcade emulated games, are on this system. Like the audience tends to be a lot more open to playing these arcade games. When I was looking at the sales for those arcade archive games, I mean, it's surprising how many more copies are sold on this platform. You know, even though the series, you know, sort of started on the PlayStation, you know, it quickly became a Switch series. Battle Circuit. Have I ever played Battle Circuit? I mean, yes, maybe? It sounds familiar. Oh, yeah. This is the one with the plant guy. Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, this was part of the Capcom Fighting Arcade collection. Although the plant guy's not very good. It's just unusual looking, that's all. Yeah, it's like, what exactly is going on with this plant guy? It's such a weird game. I mean, it plays just like Knights of the Round, so it's not like it's a weird playing game. It's just a boy. That is some imagination to come up with all these characters. Fever in the disco. Yeah, boy, it's definitely not a disco for straight folk. I mean, at least the drinks will be cheap. Oh no! No, don't grab me by my arm, leg, neck. I'm not really sure if I have one. I have a fist, maintenance, I think. Sort of. Yeah, this is largely the same as it was on the Capcom Fighting Game Collection. Although there are more screen options in this arcade cabinet version. But it doesn't change the content of the game. I mean, it looks the same. It was well emulated on that title. I wouldn't expect it to be, you know, the emulation to be worse on this either. Yes, Capcom and the many, many layers of health bars. Oh, you damn brain. Dr. Saturn. Mm-hmm. Boy, 1 credit actually takes you pretty far in this game. In Final Fight, I'd already be dead. Not even playing particularly well. And I think Green is actually one of the weaker characters. Oh, come on, you really, guys? Come on. Oh, all right, well. Yeah, get out of here. Excuse me. Ugh, darn it. No! Green! Oh, there's another life. Yeah, that's right. I forgot the bonus stage was like a shooter. Now it's very Battletoads-ish. Just more reasonable in the difficulty. Ouch, ouch, ouch. What? Have you been defeated? Well, yeah. Oh no, game over. Oh boy, Gigawing. I had a conversation recently about this game. This and Gigawing 2. I played a lot of this on the Dreamcast. Although this is not really like the best example of shmup gameplay, because it really is just score millions and millions of points and throw millions and millions of objects on the screen. Which one was good? I don't really remember. I just remember Gigawing 2 as like featured up to 4 players, and that was a crazy time playing that game. Oh, of course I... Silly me. We are doing well already. Yeah, I think the graphics are still pretty good. They're just a little lower resolution than what we're used to. And, you know, they sacrifice the game's frame rate for you know, putting all these you know, all these bullets and sprites on the screen. But I think with the way the game works, it's totally okay. Curses! Yeah, I know. I'm disappointed there's no Punisher, but that's a licensed product, so I'm sure with Disney being the way it is, it would have been hard to probably release that game. Same thing with Alien vs. Predator, but that being a Warner property. It is one of the bad things about making licensed software that we really like, is that those licenses eventually, I mean, they'll eventually just lapse, and I think to pay the licensees again for that, for titles that are not necessarily guaranteed to make money anymore, it'd be hard to do it. Oh, 1944, I don't... This one doesn't sound familiar at all. Well, I even played this one? Oh, look at those pre-rendered sprites. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing that happened with the Simpsons. You know, like Microsoft took a chance on relicensing the Simpsons arcade, but that license ran out. So, you know, if you want to get that game again, you know, you really can't off of Live Arcade, you know, unless you already own it. So, yeah, I like having licenses, you know, having familiar characters and maybe having a different take on the gameplay and the story. But at the same time, it's not timeless, you know. You won't ever get to enjoy those games again unless somebody takes the risk and relicense the game. And usually it's not worth it. I mean, the good thing is that Capcom are still releasing lots of games that were in the similar style. So we do get that gameplay. We're just not going to get that same level of, you know, of design. And I don't know. I mean, I think it largely depends on the success of this cabinet and what people, or if people are going to be paying for it, and then what games they decide to pay for. So, you know, we might see a greater expansion of titles on this game. This is a bit of an experiment on Capcom's part to release this. I think they found some pretty good success with the fighting game collection. So it seems like this one was greenlit with you know, a greater emphasis on larger number of titles. You know, some of the more popular ones. We'll see. You never know. Capcom's a really strange company. What they decide to release and not release. What they decide to remaster, and then how much work they put into a remaster. It varies greatly, you know. I mean, they're already talking about doing a remaster of Resident Evil 4, like they did with Resident Evil 2 and 3. You know, hopefully following the blueprint of 2 more than 3. And they just, I mean, it really wasn't that long ago that they re-released the HD version of that game. Although my problem really with the Resident Evil 4 is that they're always working on that PlayStation 2 base code, and I felt that the PlayStation 2 version was inferior to the GameCube one. So it's like, going forward, that's the only version we get to play is that PlayStation 4 version. Or sorry, PlayStation, was it 2 or 3? I guess the PlayStation 3 version. I just did not like that version. I didn't like the way the weapons were set up. I didn't like the changes to the character models. Oh well. We'll see what happens. Ah, yes. Pro Gear, the cave game. A side-scrolling cave game. You know, they didn't make too many of them. And having this, like, this steampunk visual is cool stuff. And I think they did release a sequel to this as well. Although that's not here on this collection anywhere. Yeah, I think this game will have a timeless look, although it is incredibly difficult. So I think I would have gotten easily frustrated with the game in the arcade, you know, had I had a chance to experience it in the arcade. I still would have played it though, honestly. It's got such crazy visuals, and the patterns are pretty interesting too. Yeah, that's just cool stuff. Really cool design. I mean, we wouldn't see a game like this with this kind of design until oh God, what was the name of that game? That it was that shooter with all the animal characters. It was released on the Switch really early, and it was originally on the Dreamcast, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's gonna bother me until I like wake up in the middle of the night. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a real hidden gem. I hope people buy the pack with Pro Gear on it. It's really good game. Vulgus. Oh yeah. That's kind of an older one. I think this is also an Arcade Archives game as well. Might have only appeared on PlayStation 4. Or it might have been in the other arcade cabinet. I have no idea. My memory's terrible. Yeah, I definitely never saw this in the arcade. I would remember something like this. Got a really unique look to it. Honestly, I'm amazed I've had the opportunity to play some of these arcade games, you know, in their incarnation when they were released. You know, thankfully the area that I live in, or grew up in, I should say. I don't live in the same area anymore, but you know, the arcade scene was thriving there, and the nickel arcades and the regular stand-up quarter arcades were doing pretty well at the time. So the only thing I'm really disappointed in this generation is so far Warner Brothers hasn't stepped up to release arcade compilations of the Arcade games, you know, Midway games. You know, we're getting plenty of Japanese games, but you know, I was raised on a lot of you know, games developed from the States. You know, so I mean, I'd love to see Stunrunner again and Xenophobe. You know, Stargate, Defender, and I mean, we don't really get those now because, you know, Warner Brothers is kind of sitting on all the rights of their Midway properties. And I think it would make money, you know, if somebody took the opportunity to do it. You know, they're doing it pretty consistently for the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 era. You know, Midway kept releasing arcade compilations, but not lately. They've completely skipped out on this generation. And some games, you know, really haven't gotten a good like a US arcade compilation release. Like, I mean, things like Phoenix and, you know, Berserk. You know, a lot of other games that were a little bit that were still popular, but, you know, now they're considered more obscure. You know, we never really got a good compilation with those games in them. You know, of course, we got Joust. We got Tempest. But yeah, Berserk and Venture, I mean, where are those? Oh, a seizure warning there, man. I know this is probably not as exciting as of a game as all the other games. It's definitely on the older side of the collection. Still, it's pretty charming. I mean, it's got fun gameplay. Just not as you know, spicy as 19XX or Cross or however you want to pronounce it. Oh god. Ugh, well, that's tough. It's good though. Pirate ship Higamaru? Higamaru, really? Oh gosh. Have I ever played this one? I don't think this one's ever appeared on another collection. 1984, huh? I mean, that was kind of the time that I was playing a lot of arcade games. Oh, is that it? Okay. That was like early Pengo, huh? Fishy. Ah, yeah, no. Ah, God damn it. It's only four-way movement. Whoa, you sneaky guy. I have definitely never played this game. Oh, kind of fun. It's sort of like Pango and Bomberman. It's a little funky to control since it's only 4-way movement. Not that you need diagonals in a game like this, but it feels funny, that's all. Oh, I'm running out of time. Really? Oh, there's still guys down there. Damn it. It's harder than it looks. No. Ugh. No, I thought I turned. No, I don't know. That one's kind of fun. I think I'll play that a little bit more. Without sucking quite as bad. Maybe next time. Obviously, I can't do anything about it now. Okay, 1942. Let me put another log on the fire before I freeze to death. And we'll hit the whistle game. Ah yes, get ready for the assault on the old ears if you hate whistles. Yeah, I remember the first time I played this game, it was at a convenience store. Not on like a 7-Eleven. Oh god. Not on like a 7-Eleven. And they always had one arcade machine every month. And this was one of them. And while I love the game, I'm very quickly tired of that whistle. Even as a kid, I was like, why is it only a whistle? Oh, son of a bitch. Okay, I feel I underperformed on that one. Let me try that one more time. Sorry, that whistle really gets to me. It's like, screw you, whistle. You're the bane of my existence. Why do you have to be surrounded by such a fun game? Oh, God! I know this game requires like total concentration. It's not like 1943 at all, where you could almost sort of sleep through that game. This one's like the patterns of the enemies, you know, like going, you know, in front of you and behind you and spinning around, and that's why I think I like this game more than its sequel. Although later sequels were improved on this formula quite a bit. You can tell I don't really like 1943 that much. I like all the other ones a lot more. But there is something about this one. You know, it's simple. And the whistle is annoying as hell, but the game is still, you know, unusually fun for being what it is. I mean, you know, it's obviously no Raiden, but you know, it came well before Raiden, so you know, you gotta have a base to build up somewhere. You sneaky bomber. Yeah, I think this game is interesting because it wasn't necessarily about destroying all the enemies as they made their first run, you know, like in a typical game of Galaxian. It's like, it's okay if you miss the enemy because they circle up behind you and you can get them then. I think it's what makes the game so unusual. Whereas a lot of games from this, you know, from this genre, it's like, as soon as you know, as soon as something goes behind you, and that's it, it's over. You never see that enemy again. But in this case, that's, you know, not the case. You know, obviously something like Galaga had something as that as well. But yeah, and this is just a refinement of that genre. But it's a good one. You know, as long as you tune out the whistle. Which is funny, because like, just as I start enjoying the game, then like the whistle starts, you know, getting louder in my head. It's like, I can't play this game. Even your stupid whistle. I always forget that you can do the loop-the-loop, but I don't find the loop-loop all that helpful. I mean, it's the trademark of the game, but you know, it's not, you're not invincible through the entire frame animation, so you're actually vulnerable towards the end of that animation. And that makes it just a little less useful, because you can't shoot, yet you're vulnerable. 85%, okay, well, I feel a little bit better about that performance. Not my best, but, you know, we're not really concentrating on playing the game, per se. I mean, I'm just really happy that Capcom released so many of these games at once. I had only expected there to be one pack released today. And for something that was older, you know, the 1942 Vulgus and what was the other games that they had? Commando. I expected only like the old games to be released, so it's nice that they had the newer games as well. Although I do have a soft spot for all of these older ones, you know, the ones that were you know, late 80s. But you know, Capcom was really doing like their best work in the 90s. I still can't believe they don't have the US version of Mercs. That is so weird. Yeah, strangely enough, I actually like the Atari 7800 version of this game the most, which is not a version that a lot of people have played. So I actually don't really like this one as much as even the original Nintendo one, because there were some there were like additional like bunkers and stuff that you could find in the original Nintendo version. Just with, you know, significantly less graphics, obviously. Oh, sorry, buddy. Ah, son of a bitch. Yeah. Damn it. I don't even have to kill him. I just get obsessed with like destroying him. Huh, this is actually a lot better sounding game than I remember. I remember the sound not being all that advanced. Okay, 1 credit, sure. So tempted to have another credit in there, but let's move on. To the hardest game in this collection. Still hardest game in this whole collection to this day. Yeah, God. Alright. How far can we get in this? Not very. Please don't expect anything out of me on this one. Your girlfriend must be like really tasty in all these games. And poor Arthur, he just does not learn his lesson at all. That's that same demon that gets him every single time. Yeah. Ugh. Stupid plant. Oh, I forgot. I think I've only gotten to level 5 in this game. You know, right before the last level. Or quote-unquote last level. I know a lot of people like the NES version of this game better, but yeah, boy, I cannot stand that crappy scrolling in that game. I mean, this game doesn't have the scrolling either. But, you know, when you're able to count every single frame that moves by, it really, really doesn't make me all that happy to play it. I mean, considering the NES, it really was a good version of the game. So unpredictable, though, Red Devil. I liked him when he was in his own game, Gargoyle's Quest. Here, he's a damn pain. Am I going to see the boss of this? I don't know if I will. I'm really curious to see what they do with the new game. I mean, nothing will be as hard as this game. Yeah. God, I hate him. I just hate him. He's so hard to get through. And he has such a limited time to fight him, too. You waste the entire time slot you have just fighting him. Well, I'll dedicate a whole episode just to this game. Like I said, I just really want to just review what we have here just really quickly. Although there's so many games, really quickly is kind of a relative term now. Yeah, Section Z. Man, I haven't played this one since, since the regular Nintendo release. It's been so long. This is one of my favorite games too. Seems like this game has been lost through time. I don't know, not a lot of people have played it who weren't part of the NES era. But listen to this game, man. God, it sounds so great. Hit a button to turn around. Yeah, I really love all the games in this series. You know, they made this and, of course, Forgotten Worlds and what was the other one? Sidearms. I mean, officially they're not in the same universe, but you know, it's the common guy in a power suit shooting. With the ability to shoot in multiple directions. Right? They definitely had a thing going on. Would be cool if the universes crossed. The son of a bitch. This is another one I'll have to dedicate a whole episode to. I think in my heyday I beat this one with, oh, well, I don't know if there were continues. I might have beaten it with one credit. I think if this is one of the games where you, as an arcade operator, you could turn on the continue dip switch. So you could just force people just to play over and not give them the ability to do in-game continues. A lot of my arcade operators were that cruel. So sometimes you'd run into a game in the arcade where you could continue, and then another game where you couldn't. We're definitely gonna play more of that game. I love Section Z. Ah, listen to that game. It's crazy to think that it was made in 87? 89? Does it say on here when it was made? Well, in the 80s. Tatakai no Banka. Okay, it's Japanese only, so... Huh, what the heck is this? Oh, it's Trojan! What? They don't have the ROM of Trojan? Are you kidding me? Oh, Capcom, what the heck is wrong with you? Another one of my favorite games. Although apparently not Capcom's. So they managed to lose the North American ROM, apparently. Ugh. Listen to that music, though. God, it's fantastic. I mean, it really stood out in the arcade as well. Come on, jump up there. You know what? Whatever. Let you off the hook for today. Nice fight. I know you have to push up to jump, so it's a little awkward. No, you. It does have like kind of a escape from New York feel to it, huh? Ah, damn it. Use my shield. Oh yeah, that's gonna need its own episode as well. If I remember right, the original Nintendo one wasn't a direct port. I think they added some elements into it, but I always prefer the arcade one. What do we got here? Oh, Legendary Wings. This is another game that seems like lost through time. It's a really excellent game. But, you know, Capcom never really made this a property, so this is pretty much just a one and done. There was at one point in time a game called Dead Phoenix, which was being developed, which had these same visuals, but that game never finished its development cycle. Which was a real shame. I was kind of hoping that that game would be a Legendary Wing sequel. I mean, this one was unique because you had overhead sections and then you had 2D sections as well. You know, at first it just seems like your average shmup, but it's a little bit more than that. Ah. When you get zapped into here, you could do the 2D levels, and you had to, at least in the original Nintendo one. I don't know if there's a requirement in the arcade one or not. I just remember going, what the heck is going on? I'm playing a completely different game. Oh. Oh my god. Yeah, it was always this stuff too. It was never an easy game. Yeah, I'll have to put some time into this one too. There's definitely a lot of these games which I think I'm going to try to get to the end too. When we start doing these games separately. And I think this is going to be one of them, this and Trojan, or whatever the Japanese title is. Section Z definitely, Strider, a couple real standouts for me personally. Yeah, and Bionic Commando. This one's interesting because it is not as good. It is not as good as the original Nintendo one, but it's still pretty good. It's just like incredibly unfair. But yeah, this will make all the games. So we've covered them all, just very briefly. Like I said, I promise I'll have individual game coverages. If this is not good enough, but I just wanted to get a feel for all the games in the pack and see maybe, you know, if you saw something you were interested in, you'd at least have a chance to see it before you decide to buy. Yeah, what a unique game. No jumping. But you do have a cool grappling hook, you know? Ugh. Alright, one more time. And I will say, at least in this band of Commando, you know, your arm isn't your wife, so there's at least that. Yeah. Oh. Oh, this game. That's okay. I wouldn't even say this is like a top tier game from Capcom. It really is the original Nintendo one that is the game that you should play. This is more like of a curiosity. I don't know anybody who enjoys this one over the NES version, and I'm somebody who loves arcade games. And generally will like the arcade game or arcade version more. Anyway, okay, so that was the Capcom Arcade Cabinet. That's all 3 packs. So when you get this game, you can get it for free, and you will get 1943 with the game. So this is the game that you get if you're not purchasing any more packs. We've gone through a lot of these, and honestly, a lot of these are really, I mean, they're winners. They're really good games. And I think they'll survive the test of time pretty well. I don't think there are too many of these games that you won't run into, that you won't recognize if you've been playing for a while. And most of these games, certainly the stuff that was made in the 90s, is still relevant today, and I think can still be enjoyed today. I mean, we start getting down here into, you know, Vulgus and Higamaru and 1942. Those, I mean, may not be your taste. I still think they're really well designed, but, you know, they are older. So bear that in mind. You know, they're running on CPS-1 and, you know, not the CPS-2, which I think a lot of people are familiar with. Of course, there are games that are missing which we would like to see. You know, certainly Alien vs. Predator and Punisher. A couple of other licensed games as well. But again, you know, probably not going to see those due to licensing restrictions, which is a real shame. And, you know, Capcom has said that there are plans to release additional games, additional packs of games. So you do have that option as well, and you can buy, you don't have to buy the packs, you can buy them individually as well, but I think, you know, just take a chance on the pack, and if you see something in the pack that maybe you're not familiar with, you know, give it a try. I said they're all really good. I don't think there's really a bad game in this entire, well, at least in the first 3 packs, and outside of that one piece of sound emulation at the very beginning of Strider, I did not notice, at least for the games that I recognized, I did not notice any emulation errors. There are 1 or 2 frame drops here and there sprinkled throughout the emulation. So you will notice, like, during, you know, non-peak gameplay moments that there are going to be some frame drops. It's not terrible. It is a shame that they couldn't have drawn every single frame and they had to resort to some frame drop. But it may not be true for the other platforms. This may be something that's unique to the Switch. I won't know until I purchase it on some other platform, and I don't know if I really want to do that. But I don't know if you guys want to see it on some other platform. Just let me know which one. Yeah, so I would suggest that folks pick up the games that they like. You know, try the packs out. I think you'll like what's inside of the packs. I think they were pretty smart on what they placed inside of their 3-game packs. And yeah, you know, pretty good emulation overall. Not 100%, right? But really, really close. Good enough, I think, for most people. You know, the sound is really good for the most part. The responsiveness on the controls is good, which is something I was also worried about too. I do notice some sound delay in some titles, but I think you'd have to kind of nitpick to really notice it at all. Most people won't, but I did notice on a couple games just like it didn't seem like the sound was quite in sync. So not perfect, but there is a chance for these games to be further patched and refined. So I don't think it's the end of it as far as the titles. I don't think this is an as-is product. I think it's going to continue to evolve. So yeah, check it out. I would recommend it. I love these games, and I think you will too as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.